Welcome to Module 3 of the course, where we're going to take a look at the sources and uses of cash. The point of the sources and uses statement is to show in summary form or overview form what gets spent and when. We have to be able to show and explain how we're financing every pound, dollar, euro, yen, rupee, rand or dirham that we are spending on this project. If we take a look at our uses of cash in the model, first of all, we have our construction costs. Here is the EPC contract, the developer's cost, the contingency, and so on. If I chart my uses, then I can recognize these numbers. This is a chart that we've seen before. There are going to be other costs as well, though. Costs to do with the financing of the construction. For example, upfront fees, or arrangement fees, commitment fees, agent bank fees, and so on. These are costs that will arise from having a financing requirement in the first place. Now, given that I am generating no cash until the operations phase of the project, how am I going to pay for this stuff? Well, the answer is that we add it to the financing requirement. I'm going to put sufficient funding in place to cover my financing costs as well. But the more financing I require, the more my financing costs go up. So we have a potential circularity here that we need to work with, and we're going to have to model this carefully. This diagram gives us an overview of what it is that we need to model. Let's go through each step. Step 1 here, we can see that we've got uses of funds, and that's made up of our capital cost that we've just seen and the financing cost that we've just been talking about. Now, the primary identity here is that sources of funds should match uses of funds. And our sources of funds is made up of construction debt and our equity injections. The debt, as we draw down, is going to generate a balance. So we're going to have a beginning balance, our drawdowns, and our ending balance. So we're going to have a corkscrew structure. And using that debt balance, we will be able to calculate the interest during construction and our commitment fees. And we're going to come on in later modules to calculate all of these things. The interest during construction and the commitment fees then form part of the financing fees, which, along with the agent fees, the upfront fees, and the DSRA deposits, complete the financing cost that we're going to look at in the first instance. So as you can see from this diagram, there's a very real potential for circularity in this structure. With the financing structure that we'll have in this model at the beginning of our course here, our model won't be circular because the interest during construction and the commitment fees are being driven off the closing balance at the end of the previous month, which is of course equal to the opening balance in the current month, but it won't always be possible to avoid circularities in our financing calculations, and we'll see that in later modules. So hopefully this gives you a bit of an overview, a roadmap of where we're going in the next few modules as we start to put each of these elements into place.